Hello Anashe, how are you today, my dear people, my viewers? Are you doing well? Well, I'm doing great. Today is one of my best friend's birthday and I'm going to see her soon. But since I've received so many wonderful treasures over the mail yesterday, I thought that I would share this with you and talk to them about a bit. But first of all, I would like to speak to you about Japan and about Japanese incense, okay? Now, Japan has a really long history with incense. But in order to understand the relationship with incense, you have to understand Japan a little bit, and I'll explain this to you, my pagan friends. Japan is a polytheist country that has a shamanistic based religion that is called Shinto, that is mixed with various forms of Buddhism. Meaning, if you ever ask yourself how the US or how England would look like as a corporate country that is pagan, Japan is basically the answer. Okay? It doesn't matter that they wear suits, it doesn't matter, the basic shrines are shrines to the many gods of the land, because Japan is called the country of 8 million gods, and they have their own very special, unique connection to nature, and you can see that a lot. If one goes to Japan, one could see it about the food, okay? If they have like this staple for this month, the day after that month, that staple disappears. It's not that the ingredients disappear, it's just that, this is the food that one eats that month and not the other month, okay? For instance, there is like traditional Japanese candy for every month of the year, and you can only have that candy during that month. And if you miss the candy you like by a day, you won't have this candy this month. So, it's a very nature-based society. I wouldn't say that they don't have their own, their own conflicting paths towards it, like going completely nuclear energy and destroying half of Tohoku in the process. But basically, they didn't have any real Christianity, Islam, or Judaism to disturb them ascending, to modernism. They believe what they believe, and Shinto shrines and Buddhist temples are everywhere. And it's funny because, in Japan you marry in a Shinto wedding and you get buried with a Buddhist funeral. So, it's a very interesting mix. If you want, you can go and study it some more. But why am I telling you all this? Because basically, when one looks at an incense, especially an incense that has the tradition lying behind it, one needs to see the country which is coming from and why and where they are using it. Okay? Now, as I told in previous videos, I give daily observances to my deities. The least that I do is giving them a stick of quality incense every day, and each day has its own deities. I have like an entire voodoo week that starts from the ethereals, continues in the road openers, the earth spirits, the fire spirits, the water spirits, etc., etc., etc. So, for instance, every Tuesday for the last 10 years, I've been giving a stick of incense at least to Hecate, or did something for her, or burned some herbs, or, or gave her a plate of food, okay, in the crossroads like she likes. I believe that all of our powers and wealth and magic comes from the deities, and if we don't respect them, we don't get any, okay? So, I have brought here 3 Japanese incenses and a censer, and I would like to introduce you a little bit to Japanese incense, because I think this would be great shame if Western pagans will not benefit from the fact that the Japanese make great great incense, that could be used in ritual. Now, the traditional Japanese incense is basically Buddhist incense. I don't really know if they had incense before the coming of Buddhism to Japan, but the 5 major ingredients of Buddhist incense are cinnamon, star anise, turmeric, sandalwood, and agarwood. Those are the 5 sacred essences from which one would make a ritual incense. Now the Japanese have it very clear that there are 2 kinds of incense. There is the daily day incense that one would burn at home, and there is like ritual incense, which is very unapologetic and like very pure ingredients that are meant to please the deities. Which is funny because, you know, in the West we don't make such a distinction necessarily. And unless we make the incense ourselves, and I'm talking about obviously loose incense, because none of us would really make the paste and roll those through special machines and let it dry on the roof for a month before lighting it. And it's a pity. More pagans, I think, should grab incense making, you know, making joss sticks at home, especially when one gets to a certain level of understanding of herbalism. This thing could be very useful. So, you know, funnily enough, only the last 2 are highly available in Japan. That the most desirable one is agarwood, and I have spoken about agarwood in my Forgotten Witchcraft section. Go look for it. And I've brought 2 kinds of agarwood incenses today, and another one that is made from sandalwood. So let me introduce them to you. I would light some, I would smell it, and I will tell you which note it gives me, and I will tell you a little bit of each and every incense. Okay. This is, first of all, this is agarwood, okay? This is the ideogram for incense. It's the sun, and there is this wood out of it. It's like what happens when you put some warmth on the wood, okay? You get the smoke, and this is byokudan. Byokudan means sandalwood, okay? And in Japan, I didn't really ever see a red sandalwood incense, which is interesting. I've only seen, like, you know, finer quality of white sandalwood incense. And this is by Daiso Japan, and obviously they made this for export. Okay, this is a flat box that could be easily shipped, and it has, yes, you're not saying wrong, 318 incense sticks, okay? And this is obviously day-to-day incense. I haven't brought any ritual incense. Usually they are way more expensive, and they are not so pleasing to the nose, at least not to my Western nose, as the daily day incense. But I use both for offerings because they are containing precious materials. And what does it contain? It actually says in English what it contains. Ingredients: wood powder, tree bark powder, and essential oil. That's it. That's what it contains. It's basically, you know, sandalwood, sticky sandalwood, and essential oil of sandalwood. So this is basically a sandalwood stick, okay? It's like what would happen if you take a sandalwood piece, or, you know, and put it on a charcoal. Okay, now let me open this for you. See? You see those sticks? Okay, there are a lot of sticks here. Now, I have brought you also my Fuyuyama incense burner. It came in this box. Sorry, it's upside down. This box, okay? And this is like, you know, the red are the artist's seal, and it says right here, Fuyu means winter, and Yama, and that is which means it's a very romantic name, which means a wintry mountain. And this is the box. This is just the box which it came with, which is from full Paulownia wood, and this is the censer. It's Celadon. Okay, it's big. It's Celadon, it's big. There is some ashes in there from previous incense burnings. And on top there is a turtle for longevity. Okay, so I will now light the sandalwood and I will smell it, and let me tell you what it smells like. This is a stick. You see, those are a stick. Those incenses usually burn for half an hour or 20 minutes. They do what they need to do and then they disappear gracefully. Okay, so I lit the stick, let it burn for a few seconds, let me smell it. First of all, you get this very light smell of burning wood, but then the camphoric note strikes you gently, and it's a very pleasant, homey, clean note. And the base note is somewhat earthy, like vetiver. This is how it smells like. It's very earthy, it's a very natural incense. And also, I need to warn you people, look, when you're going natural with incense, this is not going to smell like Febreze or Glade or any of those synthetic smells that you're used to, okay? The West has made our nose lazy. It doesn't challenge our nose. It doesn't let us enjoy complicated smells. So, and I remember when the first time I bought myself some frankincense, you know, many years ago, I think I was like 12. I told myself, Arden, this smells like pee. Yes, frankincense smelled to me like pee. And I bought it and I smelled it and my nose got used to it, because basically one would have to discipline his or herself to enjoy natural smells, okay? The combination of the smells, all in all, is like this little sweetness in the air that is like woodsy, and it disappears. So it's like bringing to you like a little bit of forest into your house, okay? And this is by far was the cheapest incense that I've gotten. I think it costs, you know, the entire box doesn't cost more than $10. But most of those Japanese incenses, especially the more premium ones, would cost you would pay more than you feel comfortable paying for incense for, even for the lower grades. Okay, now let's move to the agarwood. Now, surprisingly, the agarwood incense is not the most expensive one, because the agarwood grade that is called agarwood is like an intermediate level it's an intermediate level of incense that is not like the most expensive incense. The most expensive incense, I'm keeping the best to last. This is it. Don't you think the box is simply beautiful? Okay, so this is called Mainichi Everyday Ko Incense. Remember, it's the same kanji. You see, it's the same kanji of the same incense, even in a very similar font. And this says the brand of agarwood on the side that I can't really read. Something, I don't know, I can't read this. Sorry, I can't read all the kanjis, especially not the special kanjis, okay? So, those are made from agarwood, and it has a few hundred sticks as well. You know, you open it, you get the cloth that protects the sticks, and you know, and some text telling you about them and the harvest, and this is how it looks like. Oh, sorry. And this is how the sticks looks like. Again, it looks very simple. By the way, agarwood is notoriously known to not have a smell when not burnt. Now, let's talk about agarwood again, for those of you who didn't watch my other video. Agarwood happens when certain species of aquarellate wood accidentally gets a fungus, and the wood is like fighting this fungus by secreting some oils, okay? And it has this very dark, unique smell that cannot really be imitated, okay? And several different kinds of woods smell differently. The agarwood that comes from Cambodia, Laos, and Indonesia smells completely different. And, you know, differentiating between different kinds of agarwood is like something that people do. In Japan, they say it takes you 15 years to master a tea ceremony, but it takes you 30 years to master incense ceremony. And the incense ceremony is not really something that is well known in the West. But, you know, if you're a pagan and or a witch of certain kind of education, you would want to explore that anyway. So, you know. So this is the agarwood stick. Let me light it for you. Now, you can get agarwood sticks for, you know, and I'm talking about natural agarwood stick. This box cost me $20, okay? And this was on sale. Sometimes it would cost $40. Paying $40 for high quality Japanese incense is not so much. Okay. This one, again, it starts with the little bit of wood, but then you get like this almost ambery smell. It smells like it has amber. It has like this rose petal, burning rose petal smell as a second note. And the final note is kind of musky. It's a very exotic, and yet it's still woody. It's very difficult to explain. It's a very complex smell that, you know, you can also say that it has this touch of nutmeggy, touches of a nutmeggy smell. It's very special. It's a very unique smell. It smells like this faded woman's perfume. This is what I'm getting in my nose. Okay, so this is the second stick. It makes the room smell, and it's still, you know, it also smells somewhat balsamic. Again, you're supposed to have like 3 notes to everything, but agarwood is notoriously complex, so forgive me for not being so accurate. Okay, so this is the agarwood. Now, allow me to show, and agarwood is the queen of incense wood. Now let me show you the king, the diamond, the adamos, the paragonial incense. Don't you think that the box is beautiful? Okay, this company is called Eiju. Okay, and this incense is called Chiara. Now Chiara is a certain level of agarwood that is extremely rare to find. During the Song era in China, it would be sold its weight in gold, but now it's so rare and difficult to find that it sells 20 times its weight in gold. And I saw 1 gram of pure Chiara being sold for $500 and or more. 1 gram, okay? And also, the Buddha itself said that this burning scent of Chiara smells like heaven. It smells like, you know, the gardens of heaven. So, you know, it's like, it's a very much sought after Buddhist incense as an authoritative incense, as, you know, as an incense that pleasures you. Also, research says that agarwood is very psychoactive, and it makes you calm down, concentrated, and relaxed. And I think I also talked about the magical properties of agarwood, that, you know, it's a very victory herb. It's something that I would add to Crown of Success and other ingredients. When I want the absolute success of a recipe, I would go there with agarwood, but especially if I can get Chiara, which I can't. And Chiara means in Sanskrit, blackened. Now, it's a mystery. We don't know this precise kind of tree that Chiara comes from, and we don't know how come Chiara is so much better than normal agarwood. Those things are a mystery to us until today, okay? We have no idea why. And it's like, I saw an incense stick that contains some Chiara that cost, the 1 stick costs like $50, okay? And the 20 sticks would cost like $900, okay? if you have the money and you really want to please yourself, or you know, you want to show your deities that you care. By the way, when I burn this, I feel the deities. When my deities know that I'm spending so much money for incense to please them, they don't really care if it's like, you know, if it's a ritual incense or a non-ritual incense. But I gave them both. I didn't see any big difference. But if it has agarwoods, I sense the gods listening to me, and you see, I see the paths opening between me and the gods, and they are being like, I wouldn't say impressed, but more attentive by getting this. And this is something that I'm like accepting as someone that keeps a temple, as a person that keeps a temple, and you know, and I'm performing divination, and I give several spiritual services. It's a choice that I made to use expensive incense to please my deities, okay? So, as I said, this is it. This is the Chiara. This is the diamond. As you see, the box is golden. This is not accidental. And the Eiju, I really like this company. It's my second most favorite Japanese incense company. My most favorite one is kind of sporadic and difficult to get in the West. It's called Minorian, and it's less apologetic. And this sort of incense, I think that, you know, the Eiju incense, especially the Chiara incense, is very much Kyoto style, meaning it's much more flowery. As you see, the stick is very small, because when you're using expensive ingredients, you have to like, you know, be very resourceful about the way you maintain it. Now, I think that the entire box maybe have, maybe if they are extremely generous, that entire box has 1/8 of a gram of Chiara. But I think that most of it is like Chiara imitation, because nobody could afford Chiara anymore. But let me tell you how it smells. Okay. Okay, exquisite. It's like, okay. Okay. It smells like the most beautiful woman you have ever met leaving the room, and leaving like a trail of perfume behind her. First of all, it has this camphoric note that is very light, but it's also very sweet. And then there is this strong sensation of nutmeg and cinnamon. And then this blast of amber in your face, ambergris. I'm talking about ambergris here, you know, if you know that smell, which is also very complex. And this tiny faded touch of white lotus. That's the best way for me to describe this. This is like, the smell of this incense is orgasmic. I afforded myself a little stick before I went to sleep, and it was amazing. I don't know if you can see the smoke. The Japanese incenses are notoriously less smoke, okay? But this is like the two agarwoods burning together, creating this new harmony of this harmony, okay? And those are very pleasing and amazing. And those are in stick forms, but you can also get, like, you know, wood chips that can cost thousands of dollars, okay, for you know, a whiff of burning wood. But they are very exquisite, and they are being used in Japanese things. And amazingly enough, when you go to Japanese websites that also that also write in English, all those wood chips are gone. It's like, it doesn't matter if it costs $4,000 or $15,000 or whatever. It's like everything is being sold out as soon as it's being posted. It's like they don't have it anymore almost immediately, because, you know, even though it's so expensive, many people are enthusiasts and they are keeping this and using this like all the time. It's like somebody's life, okay? So If you would like, I would leave you the links for the... Oh, by the way, this was the most expensive one, but this was also on sale. And I paid like $30 for it, for that box. And it's well worth it. For me, it's well worth the price. Okay, and also I recommend you... those are good companies. I recommend that you try different scents by those companies. Those are just the most traditional incenses. But they also make, like, you know, smells like aqua and cherry blossom and, you know, other designer scents. So, you know, you can give them a check. I will put the links in the description. And please enjoy. Bye bye.